Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So I'm doing a closet cosplay. I have done some light sort of cosplays before, but this one is a tiny bit more serious than I've ever done, even though it's still sort of like a closet cosplay. And if you don't know what a closet cosplay is when you create a cosplay mostly out of things that you already have at home. So it's not like you're walking out and you're making everything from scratch and buying a bunch of stuff. Now, I have bought a couple of things that was needed for this one, but a lot of the stuff is from my own closet. I am gonna be cosplaying Mara Forrest from the super awesome game Crow Country, which is a survival horror game that I played last year. I think it also might have came out last year. And it's such a cool game. It has this whole retro style going on and I'm just all here for it. And I just really liked her character when I was playing and decided that I wanted to cosplay her. So in the game, Mara is sort of like a police officer and she's wearing a white dress and some boots. I'm gonna go through all of it in a second, and she's just a really badass character. And I've taken some sort of creative freedoms with this. I did look at other people who have cosplayed Mara and taken inspirations from them. So here's a rundown on all of the parts needed for the cosplay and how I made them. First off, obviously the white dress is really important, so I didn't have a white dress at home because I usually don't wear dresses that much nowadays, so I had to actually buy the white dress. And it came pretty good, like I didn't have to do much with it, but there was a little bit of a problem. There was a bow or like a tie thing in the back of it that I didn't notice when I bought it, and Mara doesn't have that, but I've just decided to go with it because I don't have time or the money to do stuff. So the only thing I ended up doing with the dress was that I sprayed it while it was hanging because it was kind of wrinkled from transportation. I don't own an iron. I maybe need to get one of those or a steamer. But if you didn't know, you can just spray them with water and the wrinkles come right out. And the next part of my cosplay is sort of where I took my creative freedom and my inspiration from other cosplayers. Because if you take a look at Mara's dress, she sort of has like black straps and like a black belt going across. It's really hard to tell as well, because obviously she's very blocky, but so you could interpret this as her having a black belt and the straps on the dress being black, and that is what it actually looks like. But I did see some cosplayers actually use a harness for it, and I just thought it looked so much cooler, like it looked so much more cop-like. So I decided to get a harness. I promise you I didn't buy all of the things. So yeah, I got this super cute harness from, I don't even remember, EMP store or something. Yeah, didn't have to do anything with it. All done, ready to go. If we take a look at the model again, we do see some socks peeking out of her boots. So what I did was that I took a pair of old black socks, but I couldn't pull them up too high, so I wanted to be able to pull them up higher, so the only thing I did was I cut them. I cut the ends off so I can pull them up how high I want. The socks were old anyway, it doesn't matter. Then Mara has a pair of red fingerless gloves. And I was looking into buying these as well, but then I realized that I used to do mountain biking, believe it or not, and I actually had a pair of red gloves at home. They do have a lot of like things on them, but I thought, you know, I can make this work. And also I don't mountain bike anymore, so I don't need them. So the only thing I did was that well, first off, I cut off the fingers. I measured where I thought it would look good and I cut them off with scissors. And then I considered mixing water and acrylics to make some sort of red paint. But when I was going through my art supplies, I actually found like textile pens that I had gotten from someone at some point. So I could just draw on them. And you can still see the pattern like underneath, but it's good enough. It's good enough for me. I'm no pro. And then she also has a pair of black leggings, shorts, something like that, peeking out on the dress. So I just took a pair of black leggings, I cut them off at the desired length, and then I hemmed them by hand sewing them. That was actually fun. I really actually enjoy hand sewing for some reason. I do have a sewing machine that I got from someone, but I don't know, I really like hand sewing. And then we have the wig, because obviously Mara has purple hair and I don't. So that was also a purchase that I needed to do. And I'm not like great at styling and stuff, and I don't have like a head to put it on except for my own, so I'm probably just gonna leave it as it is. I feel like showing all of this footage of me cutting and drawing and not measuring properly. I feel like some proper cosplayers are cringing at home. Then I also got a pair of boots. So she has a pair of brown boots on her. I actually got them secondhand, which was awesome because I got them for way cheaper, and they were already worn, which was awesome because then it looked just way cooler. And then obviously there's gonna be makeup and stuff that I need to do. But aren't we forgetting something? Mara is a badass. She needs a weapon. So Mara sports a variety of different weapons in the game, but you start off with like just a regular handgun, so that's what I wanted to make. I've always wanted to make a prop, so I was really excited for this one. And I guess my thoughts around this was, you know, I could have just bought a more realistic looking handgun, but I sort of actually didn't want it to look too realistic. At all. I wanted it to look kind of boxy and fake because of the style of the game and because I don't want to walk around with a gun that looks too real. So I decided to create the handgun out of cardboard. So I looked up a bunch of references online and tried to mimic the shape of the handgun on the cardboard. When I had a shape that I really liked, I kept cutting that out, like drawing it and cutting it out of the cardboard, so I had a bunch of them. And then I also cut out a bunch of the other parts, like the guard for your finger and stuff that's on top of the gun. I don't know gun anatomy, I just see what I see. So I cut out the general shape and a bunch of small bits for the gun. Then we got to the fun part, hot gluing. So then I used the glue gun and I glued everything together, pretty much. It was really fun. I also used the glue gun to add a bit of more detail on the gun, like some lines and some bits and bobs. I just thought it would make it look more 3D and fun, you know. Later on, I painted the gun with acrylics, just pure black acrylic, and I did also red acrylic for the barrel. I don't know what to call it. The top of the gun. You guys know what I talk about. You know these toy guns, they have like a red part so that you know that it's not a real gun. I wanted to do that as well, just to make sure that people see that it's not a real gun. And here it is painted. I was pretty happy with it, but I did feel like a lot of the hot glue stuff looked messy. So I decided to take some nail files and file a bunch of stuff down to make it more smooth, I guess. And I also found this tube of wall filler, which I just think is like, I don't know what to call it. I'll probably put it up on the screen. But it was actually pretty perfect for this. So I used that as well to fill out some of the gaps that made it look uneven. And then I repainted the gun again, and I think it looks a lot better now. So here we have my first proper prop that I've made, and it's a handgun. So in the end, I did spend some money on this cosplay. I spent around 1,200 Swedish kronor, which I think is quite alright for what I've done. But I guess we got the last part left. Let's put everything on. Let's do it. I'm so excited. I actually haven't tried everything on yet when it's done. I've tried stuff on when it wasn't finished and I hadn't done all this stuff, but this is the first time I'm gonna put everything on and it's all finished. And here we are. My first tryout went great. This is obviously not a professional cosplay. I'm gonna put this away because I don't want to wave it around, it feels weird. Here I am as Mara Forest from Crow Country. I must say that it's incredibly warm to be wearing a wig. I have worn wigs.
Have you worn wigs?
No, I have not.
Will you wear wigs?
Maybe.
Anyway, I have worn wigs in the past. And I've really forgotten how warm it is. It's already warm outside in Sweden, as I said. It's incredibly, like, super summer warm right now. So we'll see if I'll survive. So I obviously didn't just make this cosplay for fun, even though it was fun. I'm actually going to Närcon, which is pretty much Sweden's biggest anime Japan convention. And I'm so excited. And I'm just really excited to go there because I've never been there. And it's so much fun to go in cosplay as well.